welcome to Yoga Flow with Inversions. So today we're just going to do a pretty traditional intermediate level vinyasa practice just to get the body warmed up, and then we're going to do a couple different inversions. So we'll do some handstands using the wall. So I have some clear wall space here, so hopefully you can find that in the space that you're working out in today. Unless you know you can do handstands in the middle of the room. But for most people you'll need a wall where you won't be kicking stuff off the wall. For the shoulder stand part, I recommend having a couple of blankets handy, or maybe a couple of really thick bath towels. And I use two because that's where I really feel the benefit of the lift. And you'll need blankets for shoulder stand if you have a longer torso and shorter arms. So that would be me. And I'm standing on my knees so that you can see where my hands land on my thighs. Most people have longer arms and shorter torsos. And if that's the case for you, then you may not need the blankets. I need the blankets. I've got a long torso. It just gives me a little bit more lift. If you have any issues with your neck, herniated disc, for example, in your neck, and shoulder stand just would not be an appropriate pose for you, and it also just would not be comfortable either. So in that case, have a block, and I'm going to have you just on your back with the block underneath your hips and your legs up in the air instead of shoulder stand. Okay? So those are the props that you'll need. Other than that, we're ready to go. So let's get started in child's pose, please. Knees wide, big toes together, and then just sink your hips back and reach your arms forward and let your forehead rest down. And so here we're just settling into this present moment. We're letting the physical body settle down and stretch out. The eyes are closed. Imagine you're just letting the contents of your mind just kind of seep through the forehead and that's being collected by the earth below you. The shoulders relax, let the breath deepen, you're breathing through the nose. Feel the ribs expand on the inhale and draw back in on the exhale. And on your next inhale, let's rise up to all fours. So we'll need to spend some time getting the wrists warmed up for our handstand portion. So for now, let's just turn the fingers in towards each other, and your fingers will be only about an inch away from each other, the fingertips. Fingers are still spread, and from here just let your upper body circle over your hands. Just getting warmed up through the wrists here. One more time around, and then circle the other way. And one more time. Okay, good. Turn your fingers around so they face your knees. Your palms are still face down. And we'll do our cat-cow from here. So inhale and arch, look forward, tilt your tailbone up. Exhale and round. And this is probably where you'll feel it a little more through the inner forearms. And again, arch as you inhale. Try to move the shoulder blades down the back. Round as you exhale. Pulling the navel away from the floor. One more time. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round. As if you're scooping up your lower belly up towards your navel. And back through center. Okay. Sit back on your heels and then just let your wrists circle around. Hands are just right below the shoulders. Circle around the other way. Okay, come back onto all fours. Take your right leg out to the side. I'm going to angle myself out to the side just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Right leg is out to the side. Inhale, your right arm opens up, twist to the right, and then tuck the right arm behind the left and twist to the left. So you're wringing the air out as you twist left, and open up as you inhale. Exhale, let the air just get wrung out of the lungs as you twist left. Inhale, open up, push into the right foot. One more time, exhale and twist to the left. Inhale and open up to the right. Stay here. Send your right leg back towards the back of your mat, but keep it hovering parallel to the floor. Reach up through the top arm, flex the right foot, and now reach your right arm forward. So your top arm and leg are both parallel to the floor. They're reaching away from each other. Bend the right knee and take the hand to the foot. Pull the right foot behind you. Send the hips under you. Try to send the left hip forward. It's going to engage the left glutes. Spread the right toes. Release the right hand to the floor and the right knee comes down. Arch as you inhale into your cow. Exhale and round into the cat. And then come back through center. Okay, other side. I'll angle myself a little bit. Send the left foot out to the side. Inhale, your left arm opens up. Exhale, tuck the left arm behind the right, reach to the right. Inhale and open up. So you're just moving, undulating in this wave-like motion. Exhale as you twist. Keep pushing the left foot down. Inhale, open up. And exhale, twist. Inhale, open up, stay here in this opened position, and then pick your left foot up and send the leg behind you. Keep it parallel to the floor. Reach up through the top arm, find the stability here, spread the toes of your top foot, and then send your top arm forward. And make yourself long from the wrist through the heel. It's a little bit of balance here. One more breath. Bend the left knee, hold on to the foot, and pull the foot back behind you. Send your hips forward. Heart moves forward. Right glutes are engaged. Let's release the foot, place the left hand down, and place the left knee down. Come into downward facing dog. Alternate bending through your knees. Reaching one heel down to the floor and then the other, your fingers are spread. Just take a peek at your hands, make sure that your hands are symmetrically placed. And then let the head just relax back down between your arms. And now let both of your legs be still. Let your shoulders be still. The only thing moving now are your ribs as you breathe. One more breath. Look forward, lift the heels, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Push down into the feet and inhale, let's rise up to stand, arms reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, chair pose, arms reach up overhead. So weight is in your heels. Exhale, fold forward over your legs and sweep your arms back behind you. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees, inhale, chair pose, arms reach up. Exhale here. And then inhale, stand all the way up and lean back from your upper body. Take your arms out into a big wide V shape. Reach up through the arms and hands to your heart. Let's do that one more time. It's a modified half sun salutation. Bend the knees, inhale, your arms reach up. Draw your tailbone down and exhale, just fold forward, draping upper body over your legs. Reach your arms up and back behind you, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees a little more. Reach the arms up. Now you're in chair pose. Exhale, stay here. Pull the lower belly back. Inhale, stand all the way up. Lean back from your upper back and take your arms out into a big wide V. And then reach your arms up. Inhale and exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, here we go. Surya Namaskar A, and then we're going to add on to them. Lower the arms down by the side. Push into your feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, bend your knees and reach your spine forward. Step back on this first one to a high plank pose. Inhale here in plank, shift forward over your finger pads and then lower as you bend your elbows, come halfway down. Inhale to upward facing dog, exhale to downward facing dog. Just a first Surya Namaskar A, we'll keep it nice and mellow, we won't jump for this one, but you'll have the option for jumping for the next few. We'll do about 4 more of these. I'm going to start to add on to them. So for this one, we're going to just step forward, so lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, and step the feet to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, feet are hips distance apart, head releases. And then rise up to stand. Inhale, the arms reach up overhead, and exhale, hands to the heart. Let's start adding on to that. So lower the arms down by the side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, come forward and down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, shoulder blades move down the back. And then you can jump back to Chaturanga if you like, but land softly, lower Chaturanga, so halfway down. Inhale to upward dog, tops of the feet are down. Exhale to downward facing dog. Okay, first add on. Inhale, your right leg rises behind you. Exhale, bend the right knee and pull the thigh in towards your chest. Inhale, right leg reaches back. Exhale, bring the right knee just above the right elbow. Hook the knee over the elbow. Inhale, take the right leg back behind you. Exhale, take the right knee just above the left elbow. Can you tap it? Inhale, right leg behind you. And exhale, right foot down. Inhale, left leg rises behind you. Exhale, the knee comes straight forward. Bend the knee, pull the thigh towards the chest. Inhale, left leg rises straight back. Exhale, knee just above the left elbow. Hook it over the elbow. Inhale, left leg behind you. Exhale, left knee comes over towards the right elbow. Tap knee just above the elbow. Inhale, lift the leg up. And exhale, step the foot down. If you don't like to jump, don't jump. You can always walk forward. Otherwise, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, and try to land more in your finger pads. Land the feet down. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, unfold. Stay here for a moment. So when I instruct you to jump more towards your finger pads, you're shifting your hips more up over your hands. So it's rather than keeping the weight in the heel of your hands, you're trying to bring your weight more forward. And the idea is that you spend a little bit more time in the air before your feet land down. So push down into your feet, bend the knees, and rise up to stand. Arms reach up overhead, and hands to your heart. Exhale. Okay, and again, lower the arms down. Inhale, reach up, push the feet down. Exhale, forward and down. Uttanasana, bend the knees now. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Now to jump back, you want to land lightly. So place the hands, shoulder distance apart, spread the fingers, shift forward, and then use your core to jump back into Chaturanga. Can you land softly? Chaturanga, inhale, upward dog. If that strains your shoulders, don't jump. Downward dog. Okay. Inhale, your right leg rises behind you. Open the hip and bend the knee. Scorpion dog. Try to imagine you're moving your right heel towards your outer left thigh. Straighten the right leg, square the hips. Inhale, step the right foot between your hands. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, Crescent Warrior. Let the shoulders drop down. Your arms stay lifted, but your shoulders soften down. One more breath here, inhale, and then exhale, touch your hands to the floor. Step back to plank pose, inhale, shift forward a little bit over your fingertips, and then bend your elbows, Chaturanga. Keep the head of the arm bones hovering. Inhale, upward facing dog, shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg rises behind you, open the hip and bend the knee. Stay here for a moment. Try to descend your right heel. And then you're drawing your left heel towards your outer right thigh. There's a little bit of a spiral going on in the right thigh. Straighten the left leg, square the hips. Inhale, Step the left foot between your hands and rise up. Arms reach up. We're here for a couple of breaths. So reaching out through your back leg. Lift the low belly, soften the shoulders. Exhale, touch the hands down. Just step back to downward dog. So we're starting to prep ourselves for handstands by making our jump forward, if you're jumping forward that is, making the jump forward as light and airy as possible. And to do that we use the legs and the core, and we try to have our hips up over the shoulders, which are over the hands, until our feet land down. Okay? So let's bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward. Think of your core getting fired up, your legs getting kind of springy, and then use the strength of your legs to jump forward. Your hips are going to be up over your wrists. And then your feet land down. Lengthen halfway forward, inhale. Fold on the exhale. Push down into the feet. Rise up to stand. Inhale, arms reach up. And hands to the heart, exhale. So let's just keep going like that. Lower the arms down. Push the feet down into the floor. Inhale, your arms reach up. Exhale, come forward and down. Uttanasana. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach the spine forward. Place the hands, spread your fingers, shift your weight forward a little bit, and then jump back lightly. Land the feet lightly to the floor. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg rises behind you. Bring the knee forward into a plank pose, a one-legged plank pose, and then we're going to do little scrambles, mountain climber scrambles. So you just switch your knees, switch again, and then switch, and then speed this up like you're scrambling up a mountain. Keep going. It's almost like running in place from plank pose. Good core. Keep breathing here. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward dog. Ooh. Breathe here, smooth and even through the nose. Right leg rises behind you. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Back heel down for warrior 1. Inhale, arms rise up, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. This is a dancing warrior. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Forearm to thigh, side angle pose. Exhale. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale here. Inhale, back to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Smooth, even breaths. One more breath here. Inhale, your left leg rises behind you. Exhale, left foot steps between your hands. Lower your back heel, warrior 1. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale to warrior 2. You adjust the back foot behind you a little bit more. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, forearm to thigh, side angle pose. Inhale to warrior 2. Exhale here. Inhale back to warrior 1, hopping your right foot out to the right just a little bit. And exhale, touch your hands down, just downward facing dog. Breathe smooth and even. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward between your hands. So you've got to use your core to really get your hips up, high over your hands, okay? So let your legs get a little springy, get a little bouncy. You engage your core here, firm the shoulder blades on your back, and when you're ready, jump and let your hips be high and your feet land softly. Lengthen halfway, inhale. Fold forward on the exhale. Push down into your feet, inhale, rise up to stand, arms reach up. Hands to the heart, exhale. Let's do one more of these. So lower the arms down. Push down into the feet, inhale, reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, inhale, reach halfway forward. And pretend there's a sleeping baby in the room. You don't want to wake it up when you jump back. So weight is in your hands. Use your core to land the feet lightly behind you, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, shoulders back. Downward facing dog, exhale. Breathe here. Let's add a twist sequence here. So lift the right leg up behind you. We'll start with a balance challenge. So open the hip, bend the knee. And then place the left hand on the floor, just under the left shoulder. So you're on your finger pads. Look forward a little bit. Pull the right heel in closer. And can you bring your left hand up and tap your right foot? Look forward. Can you tap the right foot? Can you hold the foot for 1 second? Can you hold the foot now for 2 seconds? Whoops, that was more like 1 second. And then place the left hand down. Extend the right leg up high behind you. And then step the right foot forward. Stay high on the back heel. Reach the arms up. Inhale. Crescent Warrior. Exhale, swing the right arm behind you. Twist to the right and dip your left knee down. Inhale, back up to Crescent Warrior. Exhale, right arm swings behind you. Twist right, tap the left knee down. Inhale, Crescent Warrior. And again, twist right, tap the back knee down. Stay in this position, in the twist, and then just take the left elbow outside the right knee and your palms together. Push your hands into each other. You're in a prayer pose in your hands. Twisting to the right, send your heart towards your thumbs. Reach your spine long. Exhale, both hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. All right. Inhale, your left leg rises behind you. Open the hip and bend the knee. So in order to get a hold of the foot, you've got to bring the foot in a little closer towards you. So bend your left knee a little more deeply. Place the right hand just under the shoulder. So the weight is in your left hand, right foot. And then look forward a little bit. Pull the foot in a little closer, left foot. Can you tap right hand to left foot? Place the right hand down. Now can you hold your top foot for 1 second? Place the hand down. So every time I have you come into this, it's a little bit longer, so you need to gauge what you need to do. Do you need to look forward a little more? Do you need to place more weight in your back foot? Can you hold the top foot for 2 seconds? Place the right hand down. Extend your left leg and step the left foot between your hands. Inhale, the arms rise up, Crescent Warrior. Exhale, take the left arm behind you, twist left, dip your right knee down. Inhale, back forward to Crescent. Exhale, left arm sweeps back, right knee dips down. Inhale to Crescent, one more time. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, whoa, Crescent. All right, last time. Twist, stay here, back knee down. I'll come, the back knee is all the way down this time. And you take your right elbow outside your left knee. Palms come together and twist. Can you reach your spine forward out of your pelvis? Can you turn the heart towards your thumbs? Can you reach out through the crown of your head and breathe? Unwind your hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the floor. And come up to a high kneeling. All right, so last thing before we start inverting here, I'm going to get some strengthening going in your legs, and the quads in particular. So tops of the feet on the floor. Reach your arms up overhead. This is a bit of choreography. I'm going to angle myself just a little bit. Okay. So I have the knees right below the hips, tops of the feet are on the floor, arms reach up. Let's start with the arms, and then I'm going to add the whole upper body in order to get into the legs. So starting with the arms, you sweep your right arm back, right arm sweeps back, left arm sweeps forward, and then both arms continue the circle, so the right arm forward, left arm back, and then they reach up overhead, and then you reverse that. Right arm forward, left arm back, and then reach left arm forward, right arm back and up. So exhale as the arms come down by your hips. Continue full circle in your arms. Inhale as they reach up. And you're kind of twisting your torso as you do that. So exhale down. Continue the full circle with your arms. Inhale, reach up. Okay? We're going to add the upper body. So exhale, lean back, right arm back, left arm forward. Continue the circle with the arms. Inhale, come up. So you bring the weight back into the tops of the feet. So just keep doing the same action with the arms. All you're doing is a full 360 with your arms until they come up overhead, and then you reverse it. And then you lean back as you exhale towards the tops of your feet, and inhale as you come up. So your feet are breaking you. Your thighs are doing a lot of work to keep you from just toppling down on the floor as you lean back. So inhale up, exhale back, and the weight is coming into your toenails. Exhale back. Let's do a few more like this. May not feel like much, but if we were to do this for a couple of minutes or so, you would probably be sore in your quad muscles the next day. Might be a good one to remember if you know you need to do some training for skiing or snowboarding or something intense like that. So let's go for 2 more. So, and up, and 1 more. And up. All right, good. And then just sit back on your heels. And then we'll get into the wrists a little bit more. So interlace your fingers. And then we're just going to roll the wrists around. So think of each wrist as rolling up and down, forward and back in a circle, each one. So one palm faces you, one palm faces away, and then switches, and then go the other way. Fingers are still interlaced. All right, and then shake out your hands. So I prefaced this class by saying it was an intermediate class, with the assumption that if you're intermediate, you are comfortable doing handstands. If that's the case, I'm going to instruct you how to jump up with both feet at the same time. If you're not there yet and you have just started working on your handstands, then work on just kicking up one leg at a time. So let's just do one of those, and then if that's where your practice is and you're still working on coming all the way up into an inversion, just kicking up, then you're going to try a few rounds of that, okay? We'll do one, and then we're going to then move on to trying to jump up with both feet at the same time. So moving into more of a level 2-3 handstand practice. Okay. So first is just a kick up. You can bring your mat to the wall if you want to. And I don't have my fingers right against the baseboard because then it's very likely your hips will just ricochet right off the wall once you come up. So I start with my hands about 5-6 inches away from the baseboard. We'll start by kicking one leg up at a time. So I'm right leg dominant, so I'm going to demonstrate like that. And if you're right leg dominant, that's going to be your swinging leg. And just let it lift up and tap down, and your bottom knee bends. Your other knee is going to bend. Think of your other leg as your springy leg. That's going to spring you up. So once your whipping leg, your straight leg, starts to come up, you push off of your left ball of flick. That's your spring. Kick up, push up, and then stay up. So that's the action of the whipping leg and your springing leg. If you're right leg dominant, your right leg is your whipping leg. That stays straight, and you spring off of your left leg. Okay? Let's lower down. And then our rest is going to come to the back of the wall. So bring your back of your head and your upper back to the wall, and reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Your arms are flat against the wall. You can interlace the fingers here if you like. It'll release through the wrists a little bit more. And you're just pushing the back of the head and the upper back against the wall. This is kind of how we're going to start off working on jumping both feet up at the same time. Walk yourself away from the wall. Okay. So the next stage is working towards jumping up with both feet at the same time. And I'm going to instruct this in a way that's going to feel a little weird, but trust me on this. What I'm going to have you do is have your hands in the same position, maybe 5-6 inches away from the wall. Fingers are spread, they're shoulder distance apart. And then I'm going to have you bring the back of your head right against the wall. And the reason for that is we want to stabilize from the head through the arms, the shoulders, and the hands. We want to create stability so that we can control what the lower body is doing a little bit better. Let's give it a try. So, same thing with the hands, fingers are spread, shoulder distance apart, and I'm going to lean in towards the wall until the very back of my head is against the wall. And it's going to feel weird, I know, but it's going to really help to stabilize this. Lift your heels, come high onto the balls of your feet. And I'm going to bend the knees, and I'm going to spring up and use my core to lift my hips up to the wall, and then I straighten my legs. And there you go. You can take your hips away from the wall once your legs come up. So maybe just one heel is against the wall. Maybe you're working on balancing. Try not to look straight down at the floor. Look a little bit more forward in the direction away from the wall so that you're not straining your neck. Keep your arms straight. Keep reaching your feet up towards the ceiling so you're not just slumping down in your shoulders. And when you're ready, lower one leg, lower the other. And then this time we'll stand on our hands to counter the wrists. So take one hand under the foot and then the other hand, and your toes come all the way up into the wrist crease. Push down onto the hands. You can bend the knees here, that's fine. Let the head release down. It's not so much about big hamstring stretch. It's more about just releasing the wrists. Really push your feet straight down into all parts on the palms of your hands, even up into the wrist crease. You won't break your hands. I used to think I would break my hands if I stood on them. 20 years later, I still have not broken my hands. And let's release one hand, and then the other. And we'll come into a squat. All right. Push the palms into each other, take the elbows to the knees, shoulder blades down the back, lift up through the spine. Since we're at the wall, I didn't plan this, but we're going to do it anyway. Sometimes the best classes things just happen spontaneously. So we'll do a back bend. And I'm thinking of doing a wheel pose with against the wall. So here's how it's going to look. I'm going to bring my mat all the way up against the wall. So we're going to lie down with our top of the head near the wall, feet to the floor under the knees. Hands are on either side of your head, just a few inches away, so your hands are about shoulder, a little wider than shoulder distance apart. Your elbows are going to point up. Now you have the option of walking your hands up the wall if that's in your practice. We did this in a class, there's one other video that I have this sequence in it. So you need to start with your head pretty close to the wall. Push your feet down into the floor, point your elbows up, lift your hips up, inhale, and then push into your hands and lift all the way up, head up. You're looking straight at the wall. Walk your feet in a little closer. You can lift the heels, that's fine. Can you straighten the arms? Move your heart towards the wall. Now, if you want to walk up the wall, it feels a little scary if you haven't done this before, but give it a try. One hand comes to the wall, push into the wall, push your body weight into the wall, walk the other hand up, walk up, and then push yourself off of the wall and you're up. All right, good times. Let's move the mat away from the wall. Now, we will release the wrist one more time. So just from kneeling, push the back of the hands straight down. So the fingers are pointed back towards your feet. Push straight down into the hands. Come on upright. Interlace your fingers. Reach up and then just let your upper body move, kind of like in a corkscrew. I'll bring the legs together for this one. So just letting yourself swirl around like a corkscrew. So your hips are moving, your upper body is moving, your arms are circling, and then go the other way. Still breathing nice and smooth and even. Just get kind of juicy with it. Okay, good. And then lower that down. All right, and then one more thing for the shoulders here, and then we'll come into shoulder stand. So puppy pose. Knees are down under your hips. Arms reach way forward. Make your arms long, and I like to come up onto the finger pads for this one. So I'm trying to lift the arm bones up away from the floor, but your finger pads are pressing down. And then think of your ribs softening down. Your heart is softening down. Your sit bones are reaching back. If you want, you can rest the forehead down or let the head float off the floor. It's up to you. Either way, you're gazing down, not forward. And you're still trying to lift up through the inner biceps area. Lift up through the bones of your arms. Lift yourself up, ribs come up, walk the hands under you. Okay. Next inversion is shoulder stand. So as I mentioned, I have a longer torso and shorter arms. So when I lift my hips up, there's it's difficult for me to hold my body upright in an inverted position like that, because you've got your elbows on the floor and your hands are holding onto your back. If you have long arms, then it's a piece of cake. But I'm going to create artificially long arms using the blankets. So I've got the two blankets as I showed you, and I'm going to have the fringe away from me. And if you want, you can fold the blanket over, or fold the mat over the blankets so that you have more sticky. And then my head is going to be on the floor, not on the blankets. And again, if you have long arms, congratulations. I wish I did, but I don't. You won't necessarily need the blankets. And remember, if you have any issues with your neck, any pains, any herniated discs in your neck, you're going to just be on your back. You'll slide the block under your hips, and your legs are going to go up in the air. So your head is on the floor, your back is on the floor, your hips are on a block, your legs go up. Okay. Otherwise, let's try our shoulder stand here. So, shoulders and the back are on the lift here, if you're using the lift. Head is on the floor. And I'm going to use my core muscles to bring my legs all the way up and over so I can reposition my arms before I come into shoulder stand, because I want the arms kind of under me. It's tough to do when you're laying down. So from here, I'm going to use my core muscles, lift my hips up, and then bring the toes to the floor. It's a little bit easier to do with this lift underneath my shoulders. Remember, the head is on the floor, so shoulders and arms are on the lift. And then from here, I interlace the fingers behind me, and I work the upper arms under me more, or in towards each other. And then I bring the hands to my back, and I reach the legs up. Now this is a such more comfortable position for me than just having my elbows on the floor. Having this lift makes a huge difference because of the proportions in my body. But if you have long arms, you probably won't need the lift, and you'll be completely comfortable anyway. So you're trying to reach your legs straight up over the hips. And you're walking your hands farther down the back towards your ribs, towards your shoulder blades. So less hands on low back, hands are instead on about middle back. And if this isn't comfortable, it's really important that you will just ease your way down, come out of this pose, and do the option I told you about, which is laying on your back, hips on block, legs up in the air. There'll be no pressure on your neck. Speaking of neck, since we're here, there should be some space, a little bit of space. If you're not using the blankets, there's a little bit of space between the floor and the back of your neck. So you're not pushing down onto your neck at all. The weight is in your arms and in the center of the back of your head, but mostly in the arms. And also I do hands on skin here instead of hands on my shirt. The skin is just has a little bit more grip to it, and I'm less likely to slip. So I'm talking a lot because you get more benefit of this particular inversion the longer you stay in it. And Iyengar yoga, it's recommended 5 minutes or longer. We'll do a little less than that. So we'll come out through plow if you can. If you can, touch your toes to the floor overhead. If your back is okay with that and your hamstrings, pause in your plow pose here, halasana. And then lengthen your arms away from you. I hold on to the edges of the mat with my hands, and I try to pull the mat apart, and then I lower my hips down. All right, so we'll do a fish pose here. Actually, we'll do fish on a block instead. So I'm just gonna open up the mat a little bit. I'm gonna move the blankets off to the side, and then let's grab the block. I'm going to have the block under my heart. Actually, I'm going to use one of the blankets for my head. Just going to fold it up kind of tight. That's where my head will go. Supported fish. So just lay your heart on top of the block. I have the block in the medium position, and let the head come down onto the blanket, the folded blanket, or the towel, whatever you're using. If you don't have a towel or blanket, maybe a second block under your head, and then just let your arms open out to the side. So this is more of a restorative version of fish pose. You can have the block on the lower position as well if you like, instead of on the medium position. And finally, I like offering options because we're all a little different. We all experience the pose differently. If you want to open through your shoulders in this pose, interlace the fingers behind your head. Let your head rest down on your hands, and then let your elbows go out wide. And then lift up through the heart. So when we were in our shoulder stand, we were compressing through the front of the neck. The primary gland there would be the thyroid. So we were compressing that, and it's actually good because it was just kind of wringing it out, and now we're lengthening back out again through that front of the neck. So we're now stretching and expanding the thyroid, and this stimulation, this compression, and then stretching it back out again is, in my opinion, and from what I've just read, is that it is therapeutic for the functioning of the thyroid. Kind of wakes it up a little bit. Let's release the head. You're going to just roll onto one side, off of the block, and then press yourself up. And you'll move everything off to the side. Let's just finish up with a twist on our back. So lie back down again. And feet to the floor. Let's bend the knees. And arms out to the side. Take both of your legs over to the right. Send your top hip away from your ribs, so you're lengthening out through that top waistline there. And then try to get heavy in the shoulder that you're twisting away from. If you like, you can turn your head. If your knees are to the right, you can look to the left. And then check in with yourself and really be honest. Is there irritation in the neck or in the wrists? And If it's so in the neck, if the neck isn't feeling right for you, then just know that shoulder stand is not your pose, and that's okay. It's okay if certain poses are just not for you. Take your feet to the floor, shift your hips to the right a little bit, pick your feet back up, and take your legs over to the left, knees to the left. It's okay to admit if a pose just is not right for you. That is more of a sign of an advanced yogi, that you can just recognize what works for you with your practice, what doesn't. You tailor your practice for you, not to necessarily impress anybody else. This is your self-care. If the wrists are feeling just inflamed, maybe sensitive, then handstands may not be for you. Maybe there's something going on in your wrists and they just don't want all of that weight on them, and that's okay. So let's take the knees back up, feet to the floor, and let's just finish off in a Suptabata Konasana, or a reclined butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Let your arms just be angled off to the side of your body and your palms face up, and close your eyes here. If this isn't comfortable, then extend your legs forward in Shavasana. Otherwise, we'll let this pose be our Shavasana. Now, notice if you're really trying to hold yourself up, even though you're laying down on the floor. Are you tense through the shoulders? We're so used to holding our heads up all day. Sometimes we forget to let the shoulders relax when we're no longer holding the head up. So let the floor support your head. Really, really soften the arms down, the shoulders down. And as you do that, can you find more energetic space around the heart? And if you're gripping around the groin or the hips, it may be because this butterfly pose is just not where your hips want to be right now. And if that's true, then let your legs just extend forward. Can you soften around the whole abdomen area? Let the energy behind the breath just swirl around between the internal organs with no resistance. Let the hands be soft. Bring the knees together, hug them in towards you. We haven't done this one yet. Give yourself a big hug. Roll over to one side. And press yourself up to seated. And hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes, bow your head. And lift your gaze. So thank you, yogis, for joining me for this yoga flow with inversions. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Namaste.